I'm Sister Virginia Joy with the Sisters of Life, and it's such a gift to share a little bit about my vocation story and how the Lord was at work in my life. I'm originally from South Carolina, the youngest of three, and grew up knowing that God had a plan for my life, but it really wasn't until college when my sort of heart was open to the possibility that His plans might be beyond what I could even imagine. So after college, I went out to fight the good fight, and I worked in insurance. Not just any insurance, high-risk entertainment insurance. So I sold paintball, rock climbing, mechanical bulls. I was traveling to putt-putt conventions, if you can believe that. And after that, I realized, obviously, at some point, that I was meant for more, like that God expected more of me. And I really was overwhelmed by His generosity in my life and desired in some way to give back. So I thought, I know what to do, 1 year volunteer mission work and resume a normal life. So I moved to Los Angeles. I worked on a maternity home for pregnant teens, over 60 girls, 40 babies, all court ordered. Such a privilege. And from there, I got an opportunity to move to Wyoming, work on a ranch for troubled teens. As you can tell, I was searching, and after that experience, the Lord opened another door to move back home to South Carolina to work as a high school counselor and soccer coach. And all this time, desiring to know the Lord's will in my life. I had just bought a house. I was living with my best friends, having a great time, but I was restless. And I'd always been taught the most powerful moment of the Mass is the consecration. The priest says the words over the host, and it's like heaven and earth are meeting. And he says, "This is my body given up for you," and he elevates the host, Jesus now present in the Eucharist, and that's the moment you give the desires of your heart to the Lord. And so I was at Mass, and I would do this, but as you know, most priests, it can often be pretty quick, so you have 1.2 seconds to get the desires of your heart out. So it was always this intense moment of prayer to get these desires in for my family, my friends, my students. And one particular Sunday, the priest just left our Lord elevated longer, and I had time to freestyle my normal litany. And out of the depths of my heart came this prayer for my religious vocation. And I was shocked. I was just overwhelmed. And I think when I left Mass, God tries to speak to you, and you often try to talk yourself out of it, oh no, I'm so dramatic, that didn't really happen. And yet there was this truth, I would be denying myself if I didn't open my heart to it. And then the question is, where do you look? And a friend said, listen, if you're being faithful, God's going to work with what's right in front of you. And he did. He totally did. I met the Sisters of Life, and it was still 2 years of this discernment process, right? And I kind of treated my vocation, this relationship with the Lord, almost like it was a hostage situation, Lord, you know my vocation, just give me your demands. And just growing deeper in prayer, coming to know who he was and who I was. And finally, I was on retreat with the sisters, and I was reading through vocation stories on this day of prayer, and one of the sisters' stories was similar to my own life, and she had a line in there about courage, that she needed courage to enter, and I'd never thought about that. And I was talking to the priest for direction, and sharing with him this line about courage, and he said, absolutely, you need this courage to live this life every day. And we kind of joked, wouldn't it just be easier if the Lord slipped a note under your door, this is what you're supposed to do with your life? So that night, I go back to my room, there's a note under my door. And it happens to be from this sister, whose vocation story I had been reading, and she would have no way of knowing that I'd been reading it, and she just leaves me a note, and she says, just so you know, I wanted you to know I'm praying for you, and if there's one bit of advice, that's take courage. And I'm looking around for cameras, am I getting punked? All you want from God is a sign, and then he gives you the sign, and you're that was good, but I'm going to need one more sign. And really what I was looking for was this conviction in my heart, that God was calling me to himself totally. So it's the last day of retreat. I'm exhausted, and I'm just totally surrendered, and I'm before the Lord in adoration, and I just say in my prayer, what do you want? What do you want from me, Lord? And with the ears of my heart, I hear, you, all of you for myself. And in that moment, to even describe the sort of the grace and what happens, I'd been wanting someone just to tell me what to do, but the Lord desires our freedom. He desired my freedom, and he was sort of laying it before me. This is what I choose for you, but you are free, to choose me in return. And when the Lord makes anything clear like that, my heart was so undivided, and I was like, yes, 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 absolutely. And in that moment, I never felt more free, just that my heart was his alone. And it took all I had not to do a victory lap, in the chapel, like, I'm in. And the next day I quit my job, and 3 months later I entered religious life. And God willing, this year I'm preparing for final vows after 8 years, and really continuing to pray for the courage to say yes to him every day.